Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And, if you missed the previous segment with Clint Davis, the winner of the Forest Wood Cup on Lake Ouachita last weekend, $300,000, and the man had given up bass fishing until Christmas, and he decided, I'm going to try it one more time, and look what's happened to him. And so we're not far from Lake Ouachita. We're getting close to my hometown, but we're going to talk to somebody in Little Rock. And her family has been on this. She's been on it before. Lena Miculek is on with us right now, and we're going to talk a little shooting. Good morning, Lena.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, man, when I saw that the release from one of your sponsors, and I guess I'll let you say which sponsor it was, but you were Team Zig, you and Max, and y'all took time to go to an event that I think is really important for the spreading of the sport. You were able to go as a shooting team, 2,700 student athletes at the Scholastic Action Shooting Program. And I think as busy as you are, I don't know how you had time to do that, but tell us what the reaction was when you got to go up and see 2,700 kids.
I'll be honest. There's so many different shooting sports out there. I am not up to date on all of them. Well, and when I was first told about the opportunity to go and teach there, I was like, yeah, sure. I'd love to go and, teach. And then about the day before, someone told me that it was how big of a deal it is.
That's right.
Every state is represented. They walk in with their flag.
Yeah.
There were 2,700 kids there, and I was like, oh, this is a really big deal.
This is a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big deal. And it was really awesome to get there and get to talk with them, all levels of shooters, from helping some people that were skeet shooters only, skeet and trap. They came over, and we got to introduce them to, like PCC with the SIG MPX and the SIG 320X5.
Oh, yeah.
So got to be there for their first shots of centerfire guns. And it's always a great opportunity. They remind me a lot of myself getting
That's right. Yeah,
sports
yeah.
so young.
Yeah.
And whenever I can turn around and help newer generations get into it, it's something that everyone should take every opportunity that they have available to them to do so.
Well, I think our folks out there, you don't know, you might have been the person that touched some young person's life that wants to do what you're doing. Because as I remember, and folks, I mean, her mom and dad, Jerry and Kay, have been in this sport for a long, long time. And here, Lena, and you have told me before, you weren't forced into what you do, right?
Oh, absolutely not. So as a third-generation competitive shooter, my grandfather,
yes,
who kind of kicked it off, and then my mother and my father both did this for their living. And I literally grew up on a shooting range next door to a custom gun shop. And my mom then owned a gun shop later on. And so I've been around it my whole life, but I was never forced to do it. Not at all. Up until I was about 15.
Yeah.
I really didn't have an interest in it at all.
Yes. And then?
I took a year off from shooting and everything gun involved. And I realized normal life was really boring, and I didn't like it. And I wanted to... I wanted to pursue this full time, and I shot my first 3-gun match in 2012. At the end of 2012, I won my very first world title at the IPSC Shotgun World Shoot in Hungary.
Amazing.
And then my first shoot-off, and it all kicked off from there.
And I don't, did it come easy? I mean, it didn't really. I think you said in there at one time you didn't have a real success when it started. And your mother came along and gave you some advice or something?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
My first competition where I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go do this. It was a 3-gun match in Arizona. And I failed horrendously.
Ooh, not Lena. No, that couldn't be possible. No.
Like crash and burn. I remember the very first stage, I had 7 targets that I couldn't hit that I had to run away and leave behind.
Oh, I can't believe this. No, this is a true story, people. You can go YouTube or go on Google and get Lena and see and say, well, this girl must have just. But your mama took you by and gave you some advice, and then always listen to mama. I mean, I'm sure your daddy helped you in between.
Mom means more.
Yeah, that's right. So you take this thing. So kids out there, if you're listening this morning, or anybody, or if you got some young people that want to start, just let them, give them advice like Lena got, and she got some pretty good advice. If my dad's advice was not like your dad, not your dad. I can tell you that. My dad was a car salesman, but that's all right. But she took this, and look where you've come. So talk a little bit about the career itself. Now at 23, what you've mastered. You're still going for that third segment, right? And that you're and if I'm not mistaken, is that there's the rifle, there's the shotgun?
So I have 3 world titles.
There you go.
Shotgun.
Yeah.
I have a world title with rifle. I have a 3-gun world title and NRA World's Greatest Shooter world title.
Yes.
A couple of those. But what I do not have, and what will be my long-term goal will eventually to get into pistol and win a world title there. I want to be one of the first women to have an individual gold in all 3 disciplines, shotgun, rifle, and pistol. But pistol, it's a totally different world for me, and it would mean that I would have to drop what I'm doing now, which I really like what I'm doing now.
No,
so
I kind of like. I kind of like what you're doing right now. That's I know that. And let's talk about the mental side of what you do. I've had Katuna Lorig on here. I've had Kim Rohde on this show. I've had other world famous people, your dad and other people like that. And I always ask, and I may have asked you, I don't know, but the mental side of what you do. How do you stay focused? So when it's got to be a.
Yeah, so I think a perfect example is, for me, I'm unlike most people. I perform best under pressure, and it's not because the pressure makes me focus. It's because the more valuable the title or the award or the giant check that I'm going to get, the more valuable it is, the more time I make myself get aside before the competition and calm myself. Any person that practices a lot, we have the ability to shoot.
Yes.
So then when we go into competition, why can't we be that good? It's usually because our mind is racing and feeling stress.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. A lot of stuff is coming down on you. So as an athlete, one of my biggest goals always before I compete is to take some time, sit down. It's my routine. I put my muffs on 5 minutes before I shoot. I go sit down, and I look really antisocial and weird, but I sit down, close my eyes, and I literally just deep breathe, and I just run through the absolute fundamentals of shooting. Because if you have a good sight picture and a good trigger pull, it can carry you through anything that you're coming up against.
Wow.
It's if you think about the end goal, like man against man shoot off, someone's going to be running as soon as that buzzer goes off, and I'm going to take off running and race into the middle. You can't think about that.
You cannot, even though that's the part that I think sets you and others apart, is that you've got a routine and you really stick to it. And I know there's got to be days that, man, I don't feel good. I can't do this and things along. You guys have got to shoot no matter what. And so gathering yourself is part of that. And you recommend that, don't you, to young people that start, is have some kind of mental approach?
Absolutely. I actually was just at the gym earlier today talking with a lady that I worked out with that doesn't compete in anything shooting related, doesn't even shoot yet, but she competes in a different sport, and I was talking to her about working on her mental game. Because it carries over to everything you do in life. Anything that's high stress, high intensity, having a mental approach is what takes you to the next level.
Well, we do that in the radio here too. I can tell you that. When I gotta be on top of it because I never know what I'm going to say until it comes out of my mouth. So, and if I'm not mistaken, also, I've read your dad had a motto, which you say, which sounds very much like my dad. Is don't get big head. Yep.
He has many mottos, but that's one of the ones that we strive for the most. And pretty much what it means is the instant you think you know something, you stop learning.
Yeah.
And if you want to be the best at anything in life, absolutely anything, you have to approach it every day like you don't know what you're doing and you're always searching to find a better way.
And I know people out there will say, well, here's the question I ask most people. How many shells do you go through in a year? I'm getting a here. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that question a lot, and I'm really bad, and I don't keep count, especially because I'm, once again, competing with I shoot rifle, pistol, shotgun, and PCC.
Yeah, you got to.
I go through a lot of ammo.
A lot of ammo. I mean, that's part of her life is to go through ammo. So talk about a couple of your sponsors, too, because these have played a key part in your career. Talk about that.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have been able to go to France earlier this year to defend for the second time my IPSC shotgun world title if Mossberg hadn't stepped up and wanted to send me. Yeah. I'm so blessed with all the companies that I work with. I've gotten to a point where I can work with anyone that I want, but I get to work with and I get to choose the people that make products that I don't only stand behind, but that the people there are people that I'm proud to be working with and associated with. So as a whole, I've really been so blessed with all the companies that I've gotten to work with and that they've allowed me to do that.
Well, folks, you just need to just Google Lena Miculek. You can go to Facebook or whatever. I mean, I went to all of them. She's everywhere. And she's got so many, I don't know how many Facebook followers you got, but I think you got half of Memphis, it looked like. And there, a lot of our shooters are really on top of it. Lena, thank you for taking time to be with us today, and we'll stay in touch and tell your family hello. And if you see Max, tell him hello for us, too. And we'll get you again on down the road because I know it's going to be a busy 2018 for you, okay?
It is. Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks, Lena. All right.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're rolling along. I'm going solo this morning. And, well, I'm not solo. Shelby called us here taking care of me and everything, and I'm fighting a sneezing attack. And if I do that, I may die on the air right here. I don't know. We'll try. Be right back.